Southwest NATO to Broadway, Southwest Lincoln to Burnside is closed. Leave the area now to the south and to the west, where you may be subject to arrest and use of force to include crowd control munitions.
The riot cops will probably come out of the street from behind them.
Yeah.
So I think if you
This is the Portland Police Bureau. This is a civil disturbance, and we have declared an unlawful assembly. Southwest NATO to Broadway, Southwest Lincoln to Burnside is closed. Leave the area now to the south and to the west, where you may be subject to arrest and use of force to include crowd control munitions. Lincoln to Burnside is closed. Leave the area now to the south and to the west, where you may be subject to arrest and use of force to include crowd control munitions. This is the Portland Police Bureau. This is a civil disturbance, and we have declared an unlawful assembly. Southwest NATO to Broadway and Southwest Lincoln, the West Burnside is closed. Leave now to the south and west, or you may be subject to arrest and use of force. This is the Portland Police Bureau. This is
I say exit same way.
This way?
Yeah, that's what I said. Unless you like that.
That was the Portland police shooting a flashbang at a person that was down. You alright? I love that the line on the back next to the cops are all cameras. All of us with cameras are right on the cops. I love it.
No sleep for piggies! Get out on all night!
Making sure that other protesters were able to get free. I told them over and over again I have PTSD as a military vet, and people in uniform freak me the fuck out. And still, I'm setting off flashbangs, doing this to peaceful protesters. This is your police.
This is a lawful assembly. Leave now to the west. If you do not leave, you may be subject to arrest and use of force to include crowd control munitions. This is a lawful assembly. Leave now to the west. If you do not leave, you may be subject to arrest and use of force to include
Right
crowd
in front of
control
them after they did
munitions.
that bull rush yesterday.
This is a lawful assembly. Leave now to the west. If you do not leave, you may be subject to arrest and use of force to include crowd control munitions. This is a lawful assembly. Leave now to the west. If you do not leave, you may be subject to arrest and use of force to include crowd control munitions.
Where are I have my ID.
This is a lawful assembly. Leave now to the west.
You too, sir.
If you do not leave, you may be subject to arrest and use of force to include crowd control munitions.
Here, pushing this crowd.
Across the street.
Setting off fucking smoke bombs right in the middle of the crowd.
Leave now to the west. If you do not leave, you may be subject to arrest and use of force to include crowd control munitions. This is a lawful assembly. Leave now to the west. If you do not leave, you may be subject to arrest and use of force to include crowd control munitions. This is a lawful assembly. Leave now to the west. If you do not leave, you may be subject to arrest and use of force to include crowd control munitions.
halfway right there, a couple blocks. I don't know if you guys could hear the explosion.
Everything's clear now.
Well, we got pepper balls out.
Thank you.
This is a lawful assembly. Leave now to the west. If you do not leave, you may be subject to arrest and use of force to include crowd control munitions.
Thank you.
include crowd control munitions. This is an unlawful assembly. Leave now to the west. If you do not leave, you may be subject to arrest and use of force to include crowd control munitions.
That's
This is
this
an
March
unlawful assembly.
fifth
Leave
live from
now to the west.
Portland for the
If you
protest.
do not leave, you may be subject to arrest.
Watch the cattle! Watch the cattle!
Huge crowd. We are the huge crowd. This is the other side. This is just the front of the crowd. We have at least 10,000 people marching right now. Everyone share this to any groups you have or your pages.
Right? No fucking trust any of them.
Right now because I don't trust trying to get back to my vehicle at the moment. So there's still a grill going here. That is the U-Haul that all the stuff is transported in. I actually might hunker down here for a minute.
That's not tear gas?
Right? That's what I was just thinking.
Start coming back.
That smells
It smells and tastes like it. Yeah, right? But I did see sheriffs. I saw Multnomah County sheriffs, and they can use tear gas legally still. So yeah, this is Portland being tear gassed again.
Yeah, never had a barbecue going anywhere.
This is a civil disturbance and we have declared it unlawful assembly. Southwest NATO to Broadway, Southwest Lincoln to West Parkside is closed.
Shut up,
Leave
Pop!
now,
Oh, God, I want to
or
say
you may be
two
subject to
different
arrest
of the
and use of force.
SWAT SUVs pull up right in front of the
Shut up, Pop!
for pictures. It was quite disturbing.
Oh yeah, that could make sense. It's a pepper irritant.
This is the Portland Police Bureau.
So I'm going to make sure my ride is down here
Unlawful assembly.
real quick.
Southwest NATO to Broadway, Southwest Lincoln to West Parkside is closed. Leave now,
Our
or
cop
you may be subject to arrest and use of force.
down
To
here.
include crowd control munitions.
Yeah,
Going that way.
I was trying to capture the image last night and I was only able to catch it from 2 blocks away because I was weary of trying to go down and actually get the good photo because of the fact that all officers were patrolling downtown so heavily last night.
Parkside is closed. Leave now, or you may be subject to arrest and use of force to include crowd control munitions.
Make sure my vehicle and my driver's still around. He said he would wait for me.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! We pay for you bitch motherfuckers! Cops down there.
Yep, there's officers patrolling up ahead there. Yes, my ride is still there. My driver is not in the vehicle. Crud, he might be with the crowd. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I see my vehicle. I'm going to drop the feed for a minute so I can call my driver to see where he's at. I'll be bringing the live feed back up in a second if I need to.
Not sure.
But other than that, I'm good at the moment. And yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Sounds like the cops are trying to get through, and the police aren't letting them. Sounds like the police are trying to get through, and the cars are not letting them.
Okay, so for those of you watching, I'm obviously right next to
Oh, someone dropped their umbrella. The group is forming back down here. Yeah, right? Decent one too. It's got like a handle and everything. So if anyone knows anyone that lost an umbrella or a slice of pizza in Portland tonight, I have the umbrella. The pizza's gonna remain on the street. All right. I don't know where the cops are. So yeah, I don't know, but we kind of. Here comes some police lights. Got some down there too. Looks like everyone's kind of already regrouping.
Right now. Because we don't play that shit.
Oh shit, I gotta tie my mask up again. It came untied and all this. Give me 1 second. Oh shit. I was fixing my mask and the cops came and started shooting.
Remember, hey, Broadway, that's where they told us to go. That's where they are right now.
My chat is again break.
So we can stop right here. They only goes with the Broadway. We're behind. Excuse us.
Yeah. Sounds like they said Broadway, so we're standing here. I lost my umbrella. Easy come, easy go. Keep walking up and walking back. All right, I need to end my stream and restart it because again, I can't fucking see my chat.
Everyone hit the little share button at the bottom of your screen. Yeah, Jeremiah, if you're ever out here on the weekends, hit me up also.
Get there! They're at the left! There's cops at the left! The left! They're circling around us to trap us! Come forward! Come forward! Let's go! Circling!
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to for sure.
We're out of your boundary, rascal!
We can always run back this way so far.
Holy shit!
Looks like they left down here again.
I showed up every night after everybody was tear gas, after we was fucked up by these maggots, and they can't do shit.
The Portland Police Bureau. This is a civil disturbance and we have declared an unlawful assembly. From Southwest NATO Parkway to 10th Avenue, Lincoln to Burnside is closed. Leave now, or you may be subject to arrest and use of force to include crowd control munitions. This is the Portland Police Bureau. This is a civil disturbance and we have declared an unlawful assembly. From Southwest NATO Parkway to 10th Avenue and Lincoln to Burnside is closed.
I don't get what Lincoln to
Leave
Burnside
now or you may be subject to arrest and use of force to include crowd control munitions.
I can't catch these instructions. This is not. They haven't used tear gas yet.
Oh shit. They're right there again.
Now they're back on my ass.
This is the Portland Police Bureau. This is a civil disturbance and we have declared an unlawful assembly. From Southwest NATO Parkway to 10th Avenue and Lincoln to Burnside is closed. Leave now or you may be subject to arrest and use of force to include crowd control munitions.
Oh, they're pushing up this road now.
Stay tight, stay together.
Black Lives Matter! 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 And your back! We are surrounded! Watch your front and your back!
You're blocking traffic.
This is the Portland Police Bureau. This is a civil disturbance and we have declared an unlawful assembly. From Southwest NATO Parkway to 10th Avenue and Lincoln to Burnside is closed. Leave now or you may be subject to arrest and use of force to include crowd control munitions.
Tra-la-la, walking down the land of Portland, look, I'm skipping, I don't have a job. I'm still okay. What are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about? Yes, thank you. By the way, if you're under 30, you get no bills to pay and
This is
shit.
the
So
Portland Police Bureau. This is a civil disturbance and we have declared an
I'm
unlawful
actually
assembly.
purple, actually. I try to stay
Southwest
simple as
NATO
possible.
to Southwest 10th Avenue.
You actually don't know who I am.
Southwest Lincoln to West Burnside is closed.
And my chat's fucked up again. I don't know, guys. I'm
Now
sorry.
to the south and west, where you will be subject to arrest and or use of force.
I try.
To crowd control
It keeps
munitions.
not
Anyways,
showing me
anyone from
things. That's
Portland,
why I don't know.
please come through. You support my number, so.
Still got an exit back here, it looks like.
Yeah. From the B. You seem that everyone here is just like some Democrat, like crazy, but you know, everyone is just don't dismiss everyone. That's the issue we have right now, is because you just think that we're all here because we're just some crazy idiots. No, I don't give a shit, but I appreciate you though. Well, we're not doing anything illegal to be arrested. Actually, we're actually just kind of hold our ground here, but they're cussing us. Near some building, please. You by the art museum? Are you a Fed or? I'm just playing.
Oh shit! They do have us boxed in now. Well, okay. Yeah, we got to get moving.
Wow, this comes with fun. Well, I mean, anyone know your constitutional rights? Are you like dumb or? We're protected by the Constitution. We can be here. We're not doing anything wrong. I got a piss, though.
This is the Portland Police Bureau. This is a civil disturbance, and we have declared an unlawful assembly.
I want to say a lot. Is that a dog right there? Whose dog is that? Whose dog is that? Hey! Don't get their dog, dude! What the fuck?
Stay together, don't run! Stay together!
The dog is the main priority. Protect the dog.
This is the Portland Police Bureau. This is a civil disturbance, and we have declared an unlawful assembly.
They have started shooting pickleball.
Southwest 10th Avenue and Southwest Lincoln to West Burnside is closed. Leave now to the south and west, or you'll be subject to arrest and/or use of force to include crowd control munitions.
The dog will be fine. Don't worry about the dogs. I appreciate the dog.
Let's go left.
Justin, dog's fine.
We're on fucking 10.
Yeah, they're pretty vocal. I am actually slowly going to the dog because I'm concerned. Move away? No, I'm not going to move away. I appreciate the concern though, but this is the ground you have to hold. There's so many cops. I can probably get shot in my eyeball. Oh, there might be shaking.
Line of cops back there. Yeah. Yeah.
There's the dog guy. Oh, front line, yeah. If you guys want to find some footage, follow me on Twitter. I'll like send you some viral shit. I got the craziest video of Portland, Oregon. Like they don't even know. Like my footage will probably break the, honestly. Yeah. Long story short, if you want to see this video, I was bumping Tupac. We're bumping Tupac. And we're peaceful, and this cop rolls up. He rolls his window down. He goes, "Hey, I love Tupac. I love Tupac." And the guy from the back door opens his door and throws a flashbang and just fucks us up. It was like some Call of Duty shit, but like not really. But oh, you see the weapons they be using and shit? Yeah, that's some scandalous shit. Tweet the vids, bro. Find me on Twitter. If it's the same one, damn it's spam on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll post it. And I'm gonna tell you the truth, for the 100 viewers, yo, like, after day like 10 here, it's like you. What are they protesting? Bruh, are you dumb? Just kidding. That's ignorant. But like, if you don't know what we're protesting, you must be out of your mind. We're at a standoff. This is the actual live standoff here from Portland. I'm on the side here. Cops are probably watching me. They're probably skating in my face. We got some cool homies here with the dogs. The dogs. Get some hearts for the dogs, y'all. Let me see some hearts from the dogs. Hearts for the dogs. Hey. Portland police.
Yeah, kind of coalescing back over here a little bit.
Dog is the MVP.
Cops are taking off
It really
down
is.
there.
He's a sweet dog.
We got a few over here still, of course.
Okay, I gotta go here now. I'm live streaming and everyone's asking about the dog, so I'm like, how you doing? Oh, how you doing? Oh my goodness. Oh, everyone. Donald Trump! Fuck Donald Trump! How you doing? Fuck Donald Trump! Fuck Donald Trump! Fuck! It's alright, you're such a pretty dog. Oh, they're leaving, it's alright. Have a good one, guys. Take care of us.
Cops are getting in their riot van and going home.
Fly? Just Periscope. I can send you the link or something, maybe. Okay, Team Mark. Okay. Team Mark like this. Oh, whoa. Okay. I'm getting some information. Oh, we're getting flashbang. So Team Mark like that, right?
Yeah, Team Mark, TNT.
Team Mark and TNT.
Yeah, yo.
All right, you have a safe night. I'll send you the footage potentially. Have a great one. Yeah, thank you so much. Anyways, here we go.
Yeah, someone says they hit a dog, but I don't see a dog over here, so I don't know.
Check everyone that's kind of modern me, because I'm pretty sure we have like 20 feds in this nation. Okay.
I don't see a dog, so I can't.
I appreciate the funny comments, yo. I'm gonna link up the epicenter. We're going to round 2 though.
Oh no, right here. Oh, thank God the dog's okay.
Joe, it's okay, Joe.
Oh man.
Appreciate your concern.
Doggy's okay.
The thing about Portland though, like the people here,
Okay.
are surprisingly very
Hi,
open-minded.
puppy.
Thank you.
Definitely.
What do you mean they have two places to go?
I mean, they left, so
No, this guy
we
looks
definitely we're
hostage,
fighting round
so
2.
He does have his dog at home.
They're taking fucking torture. That's when they're putting children people. They're selling stuff like that. Everybody need a ride.
Human rights.
Yes. Definitely garbage.
It looks worse than Seattle. Probably. I don't know. I
Moving
haven't
this
seen
way
those.
rather quickly.
It's.
Stay together. Stay tight.
Almost 200. Everyone share. Little button at the bottom.
It's like, you know what? I think we all had a very good idea of her taking the town out of her name. Put holes in these maps.
Thanks for everyone watching. 102. Crazy. It's live footage, yo. Damn, why is Periscope so toxic, yo? I thought it would be like better vibes in this, but I mean, it's not gonna trip me out. But it's dark, man. I thought y'all be more open-minded.
This march, or whatever you call it today.
That's my office. Nice, cool office. Is that one?
Besides the little bit of props we've seen.
It's a tough line. I'm gonna tell you right now. It's kind of confusing. Gotta be hella bad, dude.
Yes, funneling us and pushing us in a certain direction. It seemed like this one seems to be a little more open. There were a lot more.
The first two part, thanks. I don't even know what that means. I haven't used it
yesterday. I've not seen that as much today.
How long have I been out of work? Probably a couple of days. I'm gonna go back tomorrow morning.
Where is the other group at?
Where's that Susan be at? I'm about to light a joint so she can watch me smoke this. Try to put fear in my eyes. Well, that's the issue too, though. Objectively speaking, I mean, we have so many people that aren't working too, and like people are just angry. This coronavirus is just kind of stirring it all up, and just kind of people are kind of fed up. You know, they don't know what the fuck is going on. They don't know if it's truthful. So this is kind of like the boiling point. I would say this is like the spark. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of, it's not so good. I have to break apart for a second. I'm about to piss with like 89 viewers on. I mean, I'm about to drop my water bottle on the floor for 10 seconds, and you might hear a noise. Oh, god damn it. So the crew's there. I'm gonna, oh, there's a camera right there. Fuck. Guys. I need to take a piss. More people. Okay. I'm about to pee from this car. Is that okay? Alright, fucking jaywalk and shit. Go in the bush. I'm gonna. Should I let my D out, JK? I don't know the ops are watching. If someone's back here, I feel so bad. Okay, guys, let me just drop some water real quick. You know, nothing's going on here.
It smells gassy.
Give me some hearts for this piss. I don't give a fuck. Send me your location for pop. I'm not even doing that. I'm actually just having a beer.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm tired and I'm hungry. I work all day tomorrow. But besides that,
thanks for the hearts, y'all.
Not hurt.
I got more hearts pissing than almond tonight. That's insane.
You see that witch doctor right there?
I feel bad for whoever's just sitting there. I'm so sorry, y'all. Have a good night. I think I might just piss him
more criminal, and the cops people were like, "Oh, you're right," and so they went to Portland, Oregon, to start filming episodes. And that's when they really moved into a lot of like heroin and marijuana arrests and like all sorts of stuff. This would have been like I think the early '90s, so that's interesting. It's called Running from Cops, and it's a very good podcast. I'm about halfway through so far, and I'm really quite liking it.
So,
impressive piece of reportage.
I wouldn't say that. Look, there's vibes here. Everything is just Portland's really united right now. I'm not gonna lie. There's more people right there. I'm gonna join them. Where's your hand sanitizer? Actually, I have my bag right here. Actually.
Yeah, I mean he was initially like a TV producer But like what they're doing is essentially journalism. Like they're actually doing some really cool stuff where they were looking through, they watched like almost like a third of all of the cops. There's like 2,500 cops episodes, and they watched like 900 of them to put together statistics on like, oh yeah, we've got cars blocking for us up ahead. Kind of closing off one chunk of the road for people. That's nice. But yeah, like I'm not gonna say, I don't know. I think people, like, he's doing journalism in that show. He's a journalist. You can argue that maybe he isn't other times, but what they're doing in that series is very much journalism, kind of at its core, like going in and studying a thing and talking to people, conducting interviews, and building a case that kind of reveals reality to people. All right, we got police right here, see? Coming up this side. And here we have the crowd. Here, let's get over on this side so we can catch. All right, so we've got, this is interesting. So I think police are gonna move up this way to try to fuck people up. But I don't know, it's kind of a small little police force for the size of the crowd that we got moving around here. So we'll see what happens. But we still have the protest here. We're going to try to get around to the side so we can catch decent footage of whatever's happening. We're kind of caught up in the middle of it over there.
Ordering food, and this lady.
Yeah,
that's the technique here.
Dr. David Grossman, the professor of killology who teaches cops, to shoot people. Most prolific police trainer in the country. So we can see down here, police have rolled down here. I wonder if actually those police weren't going to cut off the protests, but we're heading back to justice because another group wound up at justice. We may have misinterpreted what that group of cops was doing, actually. Yeah. Yeah, my buddy Dan O'Brien works for John Oliver. I suspect he had something to do with that episode.
So we got the fan media badge on, and we're about to put on.
Okay, so we got a big crowd here. Big old crowd here. We've got law enforcement up here. There we go. So we got the police here. All right, sorry guys. So we have a young woman or a woman over the thing here, just telling everyone to turn around. And that's, I don't know why they'd want the crowd to turn around, because either ways it's the same size of crowd. So I'm not sure why they're telling everyone to turn around. But people kind of flicking their middle fingers up. You can see the crowd just all holding their middle fingers up at the police as they continue to march anyway. And the police heading down this way. But still staying pretty hands off at the moment. We'll see how long that lasts. Yeah. Someone near me shouts, "I'll take a shit in your fucking mouth" to the police. I'm not really sure what they want the crowd to do. They want the crowd to disperse, obviously. But they can't really order that, or at least they're not, because the crowd has moved on and their kind of legal justification to do that is sketchy, and they don't have the munitions they used to have. So they just told everyone to turn around. But again, that would have just been the same size crowd marching down a slightly different chunk of downtown Portland, which I don't know what that gets them. Then again, over the last couple of weeks, the Portland Police Bureau have repeatedly done stuff like, on a number of occasions, tell people to move south and then launch tear gas to the south, so that people have like no option but to scatter into the city into like little mobs, and then the police rioted around shooting at them. So I guess the point I'm making is that folks are kind of used to inconsistent messaging from the PPB. Here we have more police. So yeah, they are kind of like walling off different sides of the protest as folks move down here. kind of hard to say what exactly they'd be able to really do unless they rush in a riot line and just try to arrest and break up a bunch of people, or they break their tear gas rules. Yeah, they may be trying to, I don't know. They're doing comparatively hands-on. Oh, here we go. So, we see police up here. A car just drove up. Folks in the front seem to be kind of debating what to do. And it is kind of hard to see. Oh, here we have the riot police. Yeah. All right. So, here, that place. So, police moving up, crowd moving back. So the riot line is here. And yeah, there are big things going on. People running past with their hands in their ears. Very concerned. Police still up here? Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to keep covering this as long as, oh boy, here we go. We're pressed! All right, so the riot line's moving in. They're grenading. Yeah, so we got a sizable bunch of them moving up here. Huh? Huh? I think they're letting them go. Yeah, they're just moving on. All right. So. All right. So it's unlawful because the police declared it unlawful. This is just kind of what happens, you know, and this was an unusually early night, but at some point every night the police declare it unlawful and they start tossing off munitions. So that's kind of what happens. Yeah. All right, let's get around this side. Yeah. We just had to get one of my team members out who is still dealing with, was arrested illegally while clearly identified as press with a press pass on for asking a police officer his name, which again, legally they're not allowed to obscure, but Portland police have been covering their names lately. So we made sure she rolled out at this point just because that's still being dealt with. Again, she never broke the law, doing her legally protected job as a journalist, but it's been very frustrating. Now, the Portland police, I think, have been, the last night or two, a little more careful with the journalists after repeatedly assaulting us. You know, they maced Corey Elia for filming. They beat with nightsticks Donovan Farley for filming an arrest. Huh? Yeah, they hit Sergio in the face. Sergio Olmos at Mr. Olmos for, again, doing his job. It's very frustrating. Oh yeah, and they shot me twice, but they didn't get me good. Yeah, only a little bit shot. And you can kind of hear they're just sort of chasing people back and firing off grenades. I'm not seeing folks stopped at this point and being arrested, but yeah, they're moving around here. Yeah, they seem to be letting folks go if they leave at this point, which again, they've been a lot more violent in the past. Yeah, we're going down this way. And they're not, you can see all of the houseless folks here have not been repeatedly tear gassed. Portland Police Bureau was tear gassing the homeless, just kind of in the between tear gassing the rest of us. Yeah. But they're rolling down this way, chasing the crowd off and just kind of throwing grenades, which if their problem was that the crowd was too loud, I do think the grenades are louder. But again, this cycles back to like on 2 Saturdays ago when they got angry at a protest for occupying one intersection. They occupied 2 intersections, beating everybody with sticks, and then tear gassed 3 city blocks of traffic, which I think had more of an impact on traffic than the people trying to block one intersection. So, I don't know. We can have debates about the consistency. Huh.
They're loading back on the clown car.
Yeah, they're getting back on the clown car is a very disrespectful thing to call it. They're getting back on the clown car. Yeah. Yeah. And you can hear them doing their all hut, 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 tut, tut, tut thing. Moving along. But definitely, let's go this way. Kind of more disciplined. Both the crowd and the PPB. I again have my press pass out and stuff. We're just doing our job. All right. Yep. Yeah, looks like it. And they're over here, pulling back over here. Definitely looks like the crowd has been largely dispersed. Yeah, people walking. You can see here, citizens of Portland just sort of walking with their hands up around the police, which you kind of have to do now. When you see them, just put your hands in the air as you walk through the streets of the city you live in. We're press! All right. We're gonna move around to the side, see if we can catch something else. Grenade, these are like flashbang grenades. That's the things you saw earlier when we were getting, you know, when they moved the riot police in again. It was like things that spin and spark kind of like a firework and then explode really loud. They love throwing those into crowds, shooting them at people. A couple go off like right in front of me. I think like it rattled my brain just a skoosh having that happen, I don't know, 60 times a night. And I think they're using, you know, they've upgraded or they've increased their use of those grenades since they lost their tear gas. Because again, the Portland police have kind of lost their right to tear gas everyone. Yeah. They're banned from the gas, sort of. They can still use it a bit if they feel threatened, which, again, water bottles historically made them feel threatened. So the bar is not unbearably high. Yeah. Oh yeah, they shot me with a tear gas grenade. And like the flashbangs. I think everyone in my crew has had multiple flashbangs land within a foot of their bodies and go off. Like it was happening multiple times a night for a while. Yeah, police just sort of barricading off a street.
I got separated.
After declaring people couldn't be here.
They're not coming up this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's still some sort of crowd going, so we'll see if we can get to them and film them. But
not as well as it should be.
Yeah. I'm uncertain. I think they just don't care if they hurt people. Again, like they shot me in the hand holding my press pass at one point, and like more to the point, Donovan Farley was filming Portland police arresting a woman at a protest, and they had the officer had his knee on her neck. So Farley decided this is a thing to film, because this is obviously the kind of behavior that helped spark this current uprising. So I'm going to film it. And as a journalist, you have an absolute legal right to film an arrest. That's absolutely within the public interest to know how police are arresting suspects. There's nothing unlawful about Donovan's behavior. And the police threw him to the ground and started beating him with sticks. And there's like video from the helicopter of the whole assault, and it's currently, I believe it's going to be a court case, and it should be, because it was, like if he'd been committing a crime, it would have been a criminal overuse of force, let alone, you know, a guy literally doing his constitutionally protected job. Very frustrating.
Filming. I walked on the corner and one of the police that had one of their, like, I don't know what they're shooting. They aimed right for me in my camera. Yeah. And I filmed it.
Yeah.
But it was just immediate. Like I didn't. Yeah, it wasn't. I never protested or anything. I was just filming.
Yeah. They really like threatening journalists.
Way too thin.
And shooting us. And assaulting us.
Yeah.
Oh, there might be a kettle going on, yeah. So, we seem to have, yeah, here we go. Here's the crowd again. So, wow, still quite a few people together, actually. That's really interesting. So, yeah, you can kind of see it here a bit, but a sizable crowd still moving through the streets. So it definitely looks like the Portland police did not succeed in breaking everybody up when they ran through and riot lined everybody a little earlier. So that's, I think, just getting in behind them is going to be the best play. Yeah, we have police up here. Yeah, we're going to try to just get in behind the crowd and record.
Not entirely sure.
Hey, man. So yeah, we can hear him chanting ACAB. Again, I think some more little groups have kind of peeled off as people just sort of are like, all right, I've done my bit for the night, which is fine. If you're doing this kind of work, by the way, you don't have to stay until the arrests every single night. It's enough to come out and march for a few hours. That's a contribution. You know, people decide what they can afford to do on a given night. And here's the back of the crowd. So still several hundred people here. Good sized group. Really good sized group. Sergio's going to be on the radio tomorrow, I think, to talk about some of the stuff that he's seen. If you look at Donovan Farley's Twitter or Sergio's Twitter, they both posted about their assaults. At the real Corey Elliott, he's posted about his assaults too. Yeah, we've got police coming up this side too. So it looks like they're going to cut the crowd off on two sides again. So we're probably going to see some more, you know, grenades and such. So grenade time is, I think, approaching again. And again, I wouldn't say we've re-entered the cool zone, which is sort of my term that I stole from someone else for the moment where things get really interesting. We haven't really hit that point for a sustained period of time, but we've had bursts of cool throughout the night as the police have sort of been taking a much lighter hand and kind of coming in every now and then to break up the crowd and, you know, push more people to go home, and then kind of leaving the crowd alone for a while. We see them coming up again from behind. So I'm sure we're about to see another big old riot line. So yeah, you see a very, very worried crowd here. Whoa, somebody has a machete. And she's trying to break up the crowd. She said, fuck around and find out, which is sort of a Proud Boy sort of thing. Yeah, that's not all right. So this woman in the orange has a machete and is threatening people. Yeah, that's not cool. And a bike chain. Oh yeah, she has a bike chain and a machete. Yeah. Yeah, this is live. I'm all right, man. Thank you, though. Oh, we've got a fellow with a bike chain. Yeah. Oh, no, he's got it on his shoulder, though. I think he's all right. Yeah. That's okay. If there's a problem, I'll deal with it.
They're getting back in their car?
Yeah, I would prefer that not happen either. Yeah, there's a lot of machetes. I do think this was a Proud Boy, Proud Girl, whatever, machete. She said fuck around and find out, which is again kind of like the thing that they say a lot. So
assume it's a bike.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the bike chain person might be chill. Hard to say. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I played River City Ransom as a kid. I know the rules of the street. Yeah, we got a car going the wrong way here. It's a little confusing with this many people in the streets. Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I can't vouch for that bail fund in Atlanta. Please do your own research to make sure it's real. But yeah, a lot of arrests in Atlanta tonight. And once you figure out if that is, a proper bail fund, please do send them money. Because that town looks like they're having their stuff go off tonight after police murdered more people. We have police on this side of us again. So again, definitely trying to cordon off, but taking a much lighter hand after, again, kind of the place we're at in Portland is after like 9 straight days of the police gassing and shooting and like tear gassing like hundreds of random people in traffic in addition to crowds and beating people with sticks. They're now looking at having a massive cut to their budget, like 15 million in cuts was rejected for being too little. So there's talk of like a significant cut to the PPB's budget. And they also lost their right to use tear gas as much as they want to use tear gas. They also may be low on tear gas. We're not really sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're in kind of a nationwide shortage at the moment. So the police have been much more hands-off. They also assaulted several journalists and are now getting sued. There's been like 2,300 complaints in just a week. I mean, now we're probably in the thousands. They had a big meeting yesterday where hundreds and hundreds of people all shared their stories of PPB brutality to the city council and asked for the department to be defunded. So, okay, here we have it. All right. We got a big old police crowd here. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of police moving up this side and the crowd up here. No one's been like, there were some people who did some window breaking and some shit on Friday night, but none of that's occurred since, and the police did most of their tear gassing on nights when protests did no damage to anything. Like the vast majority of the violence PPB deployed was against stuff like some people would sit in an intersection, so they'd beat them in the face with sticks and then tear gas the crowd behind them, and then also tear gas 3 or 4 city blocks worth of random traffic, including like a 5-year-old at one point who was just in a car. So qualifying the PPB's use of forces in reaction to businesses being destroyed is wildly inaccurate. When we had the night after the we had like a straight up normal riot in the city of Portland where just a bunch of people fucked up the Justice Center, got tear gassed, and then ran through town and broke shit, did some looting. But every night after that, for like a week, we had police riots where police would, in response to people who weren't fucking shit up, but who were just marching, fire wildly into crowds, tear gas multiple streets. People drove a car through a crowd, actually a small motorcade through a crowd at one point. Just a huge amount of violence deployed, which is again why they lost their tear gas and why their funding's getting cut and why they're being very careful tonight by comparison. This is a very different sort of Portland Police Bureau. They would not have wanted, this would have been a tear gas fight through the streets at this point, and a bunch of people would be arrested. A lot of us would have been shot with impact munitions, and they've been mostly just using flashbangs and, occasional riot lines. Yes, it was definitely the 5-year-old's fault for being on a public street in a car with their parents on a Saturday.
This is the Portland Police Bureau. This is a civil disturbance, and we have declared an
No, the National Guard hasn't done anything. Again, we saw National Guard tonight. This is the first time I've laid eyes on them in the federal building and wearing their gear, but they didn't really leave. I mean, I think they were on the porch of the federal building kind of patrolling a tiny bit, but there was no contact with the crowd. Some people saw them through a window and heckled them a little bit, but they have not been doing they have not had anything to do that I have seen
with the dispersion of any of the protests. Like, they have not been directly engaging protesters at all that I have seen or heard of. On 2 Saturdays ago, when the Portland police tear gassed a peaceful demonstration, one of the people who got gassed was apparently a 5-year-old in a car. Huh?
You got hit by a cop. Cop said I don't give a shit. He said media, so I don't give a shit.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I'll go see it.
Okay, yeah, so this is a journalist who was assaulted earlier by the PPB.
Says media. Says I don't give a shit.
Says media officer says I don't give a shit. And Sergio, you were assaulted by the Portland police. Yeah. And that was Zane? Zane of the Portland Tribune. So, you know, I said they seem to be a little bit more careful tonight, but clearly when they get let off the leash, they still really like fucking up journalists. Did he get arrested?
I don't know.
Okay, good. Crowd is getting louder up ahead. Yeah, the soldiers haven't really like left their building yet.
Hey, you said 10th. We're past 10th. Fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, I saw them light up people yelling at them. I saw what might have been gas deployed, and I definitely smelled gas. And again, one of the things the police have been doing is saying like, oh no, when we said no tear gas, we meant no CS, but we could still use the OC. I don't know if it's one way or the other. I've never noticed a difference between the two, and I've gotten gassed by both repeatedly. I did smell some earlier, and they're allowed to use it if they feel like their lives are threatened. And again, there's no like objective sort of measurement for when they can use it, but they have been, you know, it's fair to say they've been using it a lot less. No, the tear gas isn't the yellowish stuff. The yellowish stuff is generally the smoke bombs, and those are actually tend to be tossed off by kind of both sides, because they're also used sometimes by protesters to disrupt impact munitions, make it, you know, harder to shoot them. The tear gas is like a white cloud.
Man, my ass gotta be leaving soon. I gotta be at work at 8.
Definitely been a quieter night than a lot we've had recently.
And then back here.
And again, so do the police, clearly hanging out around, but not taking extreme effort to disperse the crowd. And I suspect they'll come in again at some point and do another riot line and some more flashbangs. That seems to be the tactic. Okay, cool. So I think they're probably just kind of trying to repeatedly shrink the crowd by occasional controlled forays of violence. Yeah, and mostly just kind of circling around. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so that does seem to be the story of the night. Yeah, the spirit's still good. Morale is high. People are definitely happy at the lower rates of tear gas. Folks are more prepared. A lot of shields, a lot of helmets, a lot of respirators. You know, people are, again, this is a long time to keep the crowd together, you know, despite there's been a couple of, riot lane breakups. So after 2 weeks of training, people are getting good. And this was another sizable, 1,000 or more people at the start of it, So folks are continuing to come out. There were other protests in Portland also throughout the day. This is just kind of the more hardened crew that shows up at the Justice Center. So we've got, they're getting 5,000 to 10,000 a night at Rose City Justice, and those are the people who are kind of less willing to have direct confrontations with the police, but they do a lot of marches. They blocked a highway recently. And then we have this crowd of, usually it seems like 1,000 to 2,000 is a good guess, who shows up at the Justice Center kind of ready to get the shit shot out of them by the police and ready to yell at them and fuck with the fence. And I do think more than anything, kind of the name of the game is, the Portland Police Bureau has only so much money to spend on overtime, to spend on riot munitions, and also the individuals in it have only so much energy to do this every night because it's tiring. And I do think, I don't know,
I'm not going to say there's a long game at this point. There's certainly some clear demands, like the local NAACP has sent out some good list of demands. You know, people are kind of on the liberal side of things looking for, I think, a minimum on most folks' sides of like 40 to 50 million out of the police budget and a reduction in munitions. The person running against our current mayor, Ted Wheeler, who is not popular now after all the tear gas, is looking at like removing military-grade weaponry from the PPB, and then kind of this crowd certainly here, and an increasing chunk of the city, I think, wants a total disbandment of the Portland Police Bureau, kind of like they're working on doing in Minneapolis now. So until that happens, and until there's real solid movement, I think you're going to keep seeing demonstrations like this. Sizable numbers of people show up in opposition to the police, you know, as part of it's essentially like a slow and distributed siege of the Portland Police Bureau to run them out of money and out of energy and out of the will to continue being Portland police officers. That, if you're asking me, just kind of based on my observations from several weeks of this now, in as much as there is a plan, that does seem to be the plan. Morale's high, you know. I didn't think that people were, I didn't think that it would be going on this long. So yeah, the crowd at the Justice Center stayed pretty stable, which is like 5,000 to 10,000 people showing up almost every night, which is fucking wild. And people are getting good at this. I would be surprised if there were not something of a reduction, sort of in the numbers coming out for the next couple of weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if that were to happen in a number of cities. We're also saying like it'll calm down in one city, and now Atlanta's going off, but you'll have kind of these steady groups who do keep coming up and keep it alive. And my suspicion is that come August, things are going to ignite again in a big way, like possibly even much larger than they were 2 weeks ago when all of this kicked off, because August is when people's like government, like people's unemployment, because a bunch of folks are laid off right now. That's when that runs off. It's when stuff might be. It's when like renter protections end, so people can get evicted. And I suspect, yeah, something is going to happen that month. You know, all it will take is another really horrible police murder, and a larger, angrier crowd of people in a hotter chunk of the month, and hotter chunks of the month tend to be more violent. That's pretty repeatedly established. So yeah, that's my prediction for where things are heading for the next couple of months.
Off the card. Bingo card.
Yeah, the economy's not going to be great in August. You know, my lungs haven't been feeling great, yo. I'm not gonna lie. It could be worse. Like, it's not like, now that I've had a few weeks of not getting, or not a weeks, but like a week of not getting tear gassed repeatedly, I do feel better. I definitely had a lingering cough for a while. You know, the nice thing about not getting it, when you're getting kind of repeatedly grenaded and tear gassed and shot at with impact munitions every night for 8-9 nights in a row, you if you're me, you tend to cope by drinking a lot until late in the morning and listening to angry old Irish fighting music. And that's not great for your health. But since things have calmed down a bit and the police have stopped using munitions as much, I haven't been getting drunk every night, so that's nice.
Yep, they're down there. I don't want to get too close. It looks like they were itchy.
People now chanting "fuck Ted Wheeler" repeatedly. Yeah, a lot of wolf tones. Somebody honks their horn in time with the people chanting "fuck Ted Wheeler." Ted Wheeler is the mayor. He's not popular. Probably the sweetest moment of all this was when Lilith Sinclair, a local activist, held like a rally in front of the Justice Center, and Ted Wheeler showed up. This was after a hell of a lot of police tear gassing. And everyone in the whole city basically got to come down and tell Ted Wheeler they didn't like him. And he just had to stand there and listen to everybody say they didn't think he was a very good mayor. And, you know, an objective journalist has no preferences for anything. But I think a non-objective journalist might have really enjoyed that moment. Man, this crowd's going a while. A lot of support again from just traffic. Oh, there's a husky pup. You can have dogs at the protest because there's not as much tear gas. You know, I think probably there's been talk of occupying the mayor's house. I know I've heard it a number of times at gatherings. But kind of the last time that was done was by someone like the Proud Boy, Patriot Prayer, like the right-wing protesters did like a protest at Ted Wheeler's house a bunch of times for reasons that are, like, I follow this shit and I'm still not sure what the fuck they were protesting about. Like, everybody hates Ted Wheeler, obviously, but I don't know what they were doing at his house in particular. So I suspect there might kind of be a little bit of reticence to do that just because the last people who did were, you know, the folks that nobody in this crowd likes. And yeah, I don't know. It is weird. People are really fixated on the Justice Center. And there's a degree of sense because obviously it's where the police live. It's where all their bullets and tear gas grenades live. It's where they keep the people they arrest. So I get why they do that, or get why they keep showing up. But the other crowd, the larger crowd that doesn't seem to like confrontation so much, they've kind of done a variety. Like they were marching across the bridges, you know, into downtown a bunch, to Pioneer Square. More recently, they blocked off the highway for a while, which seemed to really shock the block. Yeah, so now we're in a very fancy, rich neighborhood of Portland.
Hey, that's me.
Yeah, and we've got a lady clapping on her front porch in these, you know, $1 million homes.
Nice.
Which is really weird. The amount of support consistently that the people in the streets saying fuck Ted Wheeler and fuck the police are getting from even like really rich people in Portland is bizarre to me.
Yeah.
You know, having covered demonstrations here for a while, particularly when it was like the FA and the Antifa kind of folks yelling at each other, people would be kind of like, at best, sort of not give a shit, and at worst, kind of like vaguely hostile. And I haven't seen much of that, even like in situations like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, what happened to the moratorium on gas?
Well, that was Multnomah County that was out there, and Multnomah County Sheriff does not have a moratorium. Just the police, no, just the Portland Police Bureau. So as long
The
as
alphabet
people are
district.
shooting gas at us,
So that's why there's been county vehicles hanging out with
exactly. That's why they've been here so much.
Oh,
All right, I think we're moving now. Don't know where to exactly. Yes, that's true too. I don't know if it was OC or CS. Someone.
There's a lot of folks here in this crowd.
Pepper irritant, which is possible because I did not feel the sting in my eyes. It smelled definitely.
People chanting out of your houses into the streets. It is a bit late. I don't know that I would leave my house right now if I was not marching through the streets already.
Don't know what's happening.
But good for anyone who does. And good for all the folks who are continuing to show up out here. And actually, it's been a bit since I've really... It's been a while since I've seen the police, actually. So, yeah.
Yeah, I am.
And of course, the interesting thing here is that everybody I think is pretty far from their car. So I'm not really sure what's going to go down. At some point, a lot of these folks are probably going to wind up heading back to the Justice Center.
My chat's fucked up again.
You're just walking now, really. Yeah, again, you know, as the police have been taking a lighter hand tonight with the violence, although they did beat up Zane and shove him around and say they didn't care about his press pass. So again, still the same people who, I don't know, 2 weeks ago beat women who were lying on the ground in the face with clubs. Still the exact same people. So please don't forget that. but worried about losing tens of millions of dollars in their funding and are being real careful as a result. Folks are asking people not to peel off, but kind of at the same time, people need to
Thank you so much.
go home at some point. Huh? Oh, are we close? That would be interesting. We are apparently quite close to Ted Wheeler's house. So I don't know if that's people's plan, but that'll be interesting.
Sorry, drinking water. My chat's all fucked up again. I think this is where I'm gonna break off.
People continue to chant out of your houses into the streets.
I need to go to bed.
Folks watching from their porches.
And go to bed. And then I need to go to work all day tomorrow. So this is where I'm gonna break off. I'm going to stop the stream so no one can see me. I'm gonna take off all of my gear so I don't.
This is a weird March night, y'all. We haven't had one like this.
I will let you all know when I am
Still
safe.
several hundred people marching along.
I might turn my stream back on when I get close. But other than that, everyone have a good night.
People in the crowd. Somebody's lighting or putting lights up into a wall. People yelling at them not to shine lights. So people seem to be coming to a stop now. And I'm not really sure. We're outside the Manhattan Apartments. I don't know. People need to be taking a breather. So yeah, not really sure what's going to happen next. There's some big chance of fuck Ted Wheeler. Kind of a bunch of different conflicting calls coming from the crowd. So we seem to be at a point where people are trying to reach a consensus about what to do next. Someone just said they're walking to Ted Wheeler's house. So they may be headed to Ted Wheeler's house. But I don't know. It seems like, you know, we've got, and again, I'm trying not to get faces at this point in the night so much, but we've got like half the crowd kind of hanging back who seem not sold on the idea, and another half of the crowd kind of like who are trying to bring everybody, it looks like trying to get folks to go to the mayor's house. Yeah. So I don't really know what's going to happen. We're at a moment of kind of broad confusion from everybody. So that's interesting. Yeah, Ted's not living in his house since the divorce from his wife, I don't think. So I don't know how useful it would be to do that. But like you can see, kind of, I'm going to get an overview shot here. People sort of milling about, not really certain what to do. You know, this is a thing. People have been marching for nights. So the crowd's real good at marching, staying together, reforming after police violence. What hasn't happened is the police give up at a certain point. I think this is new. The cops just sort of giving up. Yeah, we're not near their fence, so the police are fine since we're not near the fence. So the police have kind of given up, and no one really knows what to do when the night doesn't end with a bunch of arrests and the police beating people up. But it looks like folks have, you know, we've got, I don't know, 30 or 40% of the crowd kind of breaking off and going home. So we've got, you know, kind of rolling home. There are tons more up there. Yeah, I think they're going to Ted Wheeler's house. So I guess that's what's happening now. I don't think he's home because he and his wife are breaking up. And his mom died. Sorry, Ted. It's been a bad week for Ted Wheeler. I don't think he's at his house. But again, nobody Nobody planned for things like that. I think everyone was kind of planning on getting the shit kicked out of them by the police and scattering to the four winds after an hour or two of trying to reform and march. And the fact that the police have kind of, yeah, I don't really know. But yeah, no, there's still most of the crowd. I guess it was only more like, you were right, like 10% who peeled off. So most people seem to have gotten their stuff together. Yeah, they're turning. No one's really leading it. You know, again, none of these have had like, none of the marches, none of the Justice Center rallies have had leaders. There's kind of a cadre of folks who are vaguely organizers and faces for the people who meet up at Revolution Hall with the big groups that kind of march around. But there's not leaders of this, in part because like the goal of this protest is to repeatedly engage the police. It's not the kind of thing you want to have leaders with. And it hasn't really been necessary because everyone's kind of known their jobs when it's police fighting time, and have gotten good at like reforming and marching along. And, you know, did very well at that tonight. But for the first time, the police just kind of gave up after a while, and no one really knew what to do once the police gave up. So that's the situation at the moment. Police are, yeah, we're getting reports from one of our people in the field that police are returning to the Justice Center with their lights off. So that's fun. Could you get B to roll up this way? Yeah. Just want to have the car nearby. I'm certainly not going to want to hump it back. I don't know, a few hundred people, still a pretty good size. Look at that. Like, pretty decent sized crowd still, a couple hundred at least. Hundo. So. Yeah, definitely just the spray paint. Folks behind us honking and yeah, you can see here, not a bad little crowd. Yeah, this has been every single night since George Floyd was murdered, and still sizable crowds coming out. And the crowds that are coming out at this point have 2 weeks of training and doing this, so they're getting pretty decent at this. Yeah, they're fit. I think everyone's in a bit better shape. You know, yeah. Yeah, they got their quarantine bellies down, and they're better at reforming after the police break them up. And again, really just seems like the police are kind of like, all right, you guys are away from the fence that we love so dearly, so it's fine. You do whatever you want now. So that's interesting. That's a wrinkle, little bitty wrinkle. I couldn't tell you where the crowd is heading. But yeah, I did hear calls of Ted Wheeler's house, which again, I don't think he's there, but still nice, fun symbolism. We'll see. People banging pots together on their porches to show support. That's nice. Folks in the crowd continuing to chant "out of your houses into the streets." And oh, that's fine. I always get nervous around vehicles and stuff doing this because of the ones that keep ramming crowds. But these appear to just be people who have joined. And I am seeing, like, yeah, these old white people with black teens hanging off the back of their car, who I think just joined us recently. And there's definitely been a number of marchers who have joined as folks have come through. People on the street chanting "fuck Ted Wheeler" with the crowd as we walk by. Folks coming out into the streets. So people did listen. People have been coming out into the streets, and some of them have joined. Others have just like come down with signs to shout "fuck Ted Wheeler." Broad agreement on the fucking of Ted Wheeler.
Don't apologize. Delete that shit.
Yeah. That's an older white couple telling people that comrades shouldn't take pictures of license plates, which is interesting and definitely a new thing for me to encounter. Yeah, it's good stuff. People are definitely getting radicalized in Portland to an extent that I have not seen, which has been neat to witness. Like just the growing radicalization and like commitment to getting into the fucking street, mixing it up with the old cops. Makes all the hiking worth it. Well, the thing with the water bottles was the police had this fence and they set it up around their house, the Justice Center, and occasionally they would shoot pepper balls at the crowd, and then people in the crowd would toss some water bottles over the fence, sometimes at officers, sometimes just vaguely over the fence at nothing. And either way, once water bottles were tossed, that was the Portland Police's cue to tear gas all of downtown. And they did this on many a night. And then eventually the mayor said, you guys can't do that anymore. Really great mood tonight. Hey, you too, man. No, the cops kind of gave up. I think the cops got tired of chasing the crowd and couldn't really use, you know, I think they do like the tear gas and they like the beating with sticks. And if they can't, they like shooting people while sitting on their cars. And if all they can do is advance as a riot line and throw the odd flashbang, I think they get bored real quick. So once the crowd got kind of away from the fence, the police gave up. So that's a wrinkle. Yeah. Yeah, they're not in as good a shape as us because they stayed in their cars for 2 weeks firing wildly at people on the street. And that's not good cardio. I don't know if you've done much of that. Yeah, they should be working out in their body armor. I work out in my body armor. There was a little bit of some sort of gas deployed tonight. You know, they've kind of been splitting hairs over CS versus OC and which really counts as tear gas. They dropped a little bit, but not much compared to what they were doing before. And they only really did it once at the start. Now, they did assault Zane from the Portland Tribune and told him they didn't give a shit about his press pass, which they arrested one of my people and told her that press passes don't matter. So again, don't let the fact that their behavior has been less violent tonight make you think these are different people. It is the same Portland Police Bureau. They're just scared that a bunch of them are going to lose their jobs now and their favorite toys. Yeah, there's still safety cone teams. There's a ton more shields out now. More people with like tennis rackets and stuff. Like folks are, and like this is part of why you've seen the crowd reform so well. People don't like get scared of the riot cops in the same way anymore. So it is a combination of the police don't have the kind of tools they used to have to fuck people up, and the people are more resilient to being fucked up. And as a result, the crowd stayed together long enough that the cops got bored. They were going after people earlier, then they got bored. Oh my gosh, this is lovely. I'm going to take a break from this crowd, y'all. Look at this. Look at this lovely city. Look at this fucking pretty ass city. This city's pretty as a motherfucker. Look at this son of a bitch. Look at this goddamn town. Yeah. Fuck. Oh yeah, people do jump off this bridge a bunch. Yeah, I mean that's why there's all this fence, because people jump off this bridge like you wouldn't believe. But not tonight. Such a lovely town. I didn't see any arrests tonight. You know, I don't know though. I can't confirm that yet or not. It does seem, you know, I think one of the concerns people might have is that when the police don't engage with the crowd as much, one thing that really keeps people coming out is, you know, scrapping with the cops. Because it does start to feel, once you get over the initial fear, it is a bit like a game, you know, dealing with the tear gas, dealing with the impact munitions, dealing with the scattering and reforming. There's some excitement and adrenaline high to it, and, you know, everything's still closed down in Oregon too, so I think, I guess from an objective scale, if you're trying to bleed out the protest by reducing people's interest, that's a strategy certainly that PPB hasn't tried yet. You know, they were just trying extreme, horrific, random violence for 2 weeks, and extreme, horrific, random violence just kept getting more people out into the streets, and they got consistently better at resisting the cops, and the police started to get a little scared, in addition to worrying about being defunded. So now they're trying this tactic, and we'll see what it does. I don't know. This is the first night that, like, the cops just kind of gave up on dispersing the crowd, and the crowd got to go figure it out on the fly what the fuck else they were going to do for the evening. So we are in some uncharted ass territory here. My fellow peoples is. Yeah, it's nice to be in the nice neighborhoods. They're pretty. Oh yeah, lovely houses. Look at that house. It is a very nice house. Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there will be re-strategizing and reorganizing. This is just the first time this has happened. So people kind of had to figure out on the fly what they were going to do. That would be really interesting. I do think what we're seeing tonight suggests that the police are not willing to use flashbangs and tear gas in the neighborhood where a lot of the gas money comes from. They prefer to save that stuff for random cars in downtown. And the homeless. Oh, they love to. Yeah, big fan. Yeah, they have been pushing people into, like, low-income parts of town to try to do more of the gassing. Because the first few days of gassing happened, like, right in the middle of the shops and shit in downtown, and I think that got a lot of like people with money got caught in the crossfire, and that made people with money angry at the cops. And whoa, yeah, look at this motherfucking house.
Oh shit, dude, fucking A.
Yeah, this is some rich ass folk territory here. Like these are some nice motherfucking houses. So.
See the group splitting up now? Oh man, they're all separate, they're all splitting up.
Hours and hours. I don't think he's actually here though.
That doesn't look good. That doesn't look good. We're gonna get up and over here quick. That doesn't look good. We're gonna get up here.
Trying to figure out what to actually do. Because again, this is like the first night that the crowd hasn't been dispersed by random police.
Yeah, we're gonna get back over here. That's not gonna end well, I don't think, for that.
Yeah, this is an area that hasn't been disrupted by protests yet.
Fuck. Yeah, sorry, language is bad. Language is bad during nights like this.
Yeah.
The cop's okay, he's in his car. The guy's just sitting on it, but they're gonna come clear these people out, I think. They're moving garbage cans.
We have nothing to do with this man. This guy isn't with our group.
So you hear the people.
This guy is with his own little
mess with the rental cop. Rent a cop. So they're moving the group. Potential agitator.
Let him fly!
group is separating.
Yeah, he's here for himself.
But we should get out of here because we can't just sit here like things up. So
Yeah.
let's walk. Let's
Playing catch up.
go this way. Or not, let's go that way. Okay, everyone move it this way.
Thanks, guys. Sorry. F-bombs might fly on these type of nights. I didn't think I'd have to be going through these type of nights still.
I have no idea why he was sitting up there, but he was not with us. He's still on top of the car. So yeah, he definitely wasn't with this group.
See who takes charge here. Let's see let's see who takes charge in the Portland story arc.
Yeah, we all dipped from him.
Streamer, that guy's taking charge.
Tara, thank you so much for the donation. So much appreciated.
Oh yes.
Super appreciated.
Back forward!
Be good.
Anybody have eyes on Andrew? Oh, there he is.
Well, this is like
It's the man himself.
Steroids right now, what they used to do to us. So this is mine and Sol Luna's mission. When we get to Seattle, we'll stay out there too, like we are.
The other group stopped for a break. The other group is going to Ted Wheeler's house.
Got a nice mural in there.
Jeez, I wish I was with that group. That sounds so much more interesting. But yeah, if you guys aren't already following the stream, make sure you swipe out. Go to my page, hit follow. There also should be an option for you guys to follow my stream through just this.
Jesus.
Yeah, click follow. It keeps you guys updated. It also supports the stream. Camera stand. How can I get it to you? Message me. Thank you so much. Message me. This is downtown Portland, Oregon.
Man, this guy has. Look at the wall in front of this damn house. I don't know how clearly you can see it, but like, it's like a fucking 20-foot tall wall for this house.
If you guys can tell me where.
Who are you afraid is gonna come, buddy? I guess these people. Yeah. Look at this. Look at this fucking house wall. Yeah. People chanting for the folks in the 0.3 miles away. So it looks like after kind of struggling to figure out what to do, when the police didn't eventually disperse it, folks are in fact gonna make it to the mayor's house. Now again, I don't think the mayor's home because he's in the process of splitting up with his wife. His mom just died. He's had a bad couple of weeks. So I'd be surprised. Traffic again, pretty supportive. People chanting for folks to wake up. Oh, good. Yeah. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, I mean, like most mayors of a city like Portland, Wheeler's rich as hell. Yeah, he and his wife are Splitsville, which is hard to imagine. You know, everybody likes Ted Wheeler so much. Oh, sorry, I had a finger in front of things.
Yeah. If you guys are watching, share the stream. The more people we have watching it, the more influence we have. Like I've been saying,
People that are asking if they're going to ruin business,
that's a big part of why a lot of people are out here.
And
as you guys maybe have seen, maybe not, but as I'm streaming, many people come up saying that they're down here because of this stream. And it isn't just my stream, it's your guys' stream too. So it shows how powerful you guys are.
I don't know, we've been at this a couple hours now.
Just by having your social
I took most of this week off from the Portland streets because I was in Seattle at the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone for a couple of days and working on a new project that's like a podcast series, the whole history of the police, that'll start dropping next week. history of the American police primarily, and its roots, which are real interesting. So I've been busy.
We're just gonna keep following.
I'm not going to be out every single night for the foreseeable future anymore, just because I have other stuff that I have to do to like have a life and be a person who meets his contractual obligations and his obligations to the people in his life. But I'll try to at least come out a couple of times a week, once or twice. And you know, if things explode again like they were the first 9 days that I was out, I will of course try to be out for that.
The group that was throwing stuff at the cop, you saw how they dealt with him?
It's going to be in the Behind the Bastards feed, and we're also going to open a new feed for it called Behind the Police. So it's just kind of like a 5 or 6 episode mini-series about, you know, the American policing as a bastard. And it definitely is.
So I don't know if you shut your eyes.
I think people will find it very interesting.
But they will, when we post the video, you'll be able to go back and see it again. We don't censor anything. We don't cut footage.
Yeah, if you guys support the movement, spam the heart reaction. If you're a hater,
He's getting
spam
sore,
the angry reaction
we'll be
or
okay.
the haha reaction.
We've done
I want to
this
see
before.
who we got to block. Fucking sheeple. That's what gets you blocked, homeboy. Thank you,
No, Seattle is not a blasted Mad Max apocalypse. I was at the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, and everything you've heard from like the right on it is a lie. It's basically a block party with some barricades. It's mostly this big park. All of the local businesses seem to be pretty happy with it. You know, I talked to a few of them, and they were making good money for the most part, and they'd all open their bathrooms to the people occupying the area. There were no cops, which pretty much everyone seemed happy about. And mostly folks were just like making art, like painting the streets and painting murals and doing speeches and having debates and listening to music and having picnics with a ton of free food, like a really like shocking amount of free food and supplies. A lot of homeless folks showed up because it was a great place to like, they was pretty comfortable there. You know, they had medical supplies and food and comfortable stuff. So yeah, you know, I did a guard shift there one night and had a lovely picnic in the park. It's a nice place, you know. We can quibble over whether or not it's an autonomous zone, because at one point the police did come back and there wasn't really like a concerted plan as to what people wanted to do. Like everyone didn't want the cops back, but no one seemed to know what to do.
It's not our job to tell them what to do and what not to do.
It's kind of up in the air, so I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen with the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, because I'm not sure myself.
I'm apologizing for tonight because we have a big following right now.
Pretty chill.
They're testing me.
I can't imagine anyone actually going there.
Just hit the follow button,
an honest person
and
feeling threatened.
Check the receipts.
Like it's just a big,
but
it's like a music festival without a permit.
That's lazy. But it is what it is.
Yeah, we'll be doing that next week on Worst Year Ever. Oh, is that my little car? Oh, good.
Oh, I think this was in Tony Hawk.
Here's the thing. I'm tired as hell. I don't know anything.
Part of Portland.
We're almost there. We'll keep going for a while, I guess.
Mission.
But I'm gonna get in my fucking car. All right. Huh?
Wow.
Can I drive? Yeah. I'm just gonna drive while I live stream. I'm gonna drive stream. All right. Yeah, I'm doing a Proud Boy thing. I'm gonna record a fucking live stream from my car. Yeah. I'm gonna really Proud Boy this shit up. Thank you. Well, we're good. All right. In my shitty car.
Yep, thanks, Jason. I just got your message.
All right. We're here in my fucking car. We're doing a drive stream. Beatrix, you want to film? I'll let you figure out what you want to film. Oh, all right. Yeah, we're doing it.
Oh, this is where Sol Luna was last night. Well,
now that I'm doing the Proud Boy live stream,
we're rocking out here.
Why I'm angry at the new Star Wars movie for putting it. That's supposed to be in Star Wars.
Who's the midichlorians?
It's nice to not get tear gas repeated.
That's a good way to put it. I mean,
the motorists, but it's
you have a
even
left
nicer
wing and a
to
right
not
wing.
be walking anymore right now.
Yeah.
Bird.
We got a very
what's
slow
the saying?
moving
How's the saying
cat
go?
here.
I'm not trying to George Bush the saying.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Birds of a feather. Birds. Feather of the birds. I don't know. There's a saying there. I just totally George Bushed it.
It looks like folks are going up to the right.
The wings are on the same bird.
Oh, I think there's supposed to be 10,000.
I've been with Saul the whole night, guys. Those of you that missed it earlier saw some pretty amazing sights.
Nobody's attacking.
And this is just
shining lasers
what we've been doing in Minneapolis, or what we were doing before it became completely peaceful.
I'm guessing it's the one with the lasers. Oh. Someone's saying unkind things about your car, Robert.
We'll just share it.
I don't know. I
Share
said
it
I
out.
would hate the world if I had to drive that thing you call a car.
No, it's not birds of a feather flock together. There's something about two wings of the same bird. There's a saying there. There's a saying in Texas, maybe in Tennessee, sound and ass.
It's true. The car is largely those things. Okay, wait, so people are lasering two different houses, which makes me confused as to... You're good.
Tell you about this car.